Hello fellow YouTubers, welcome to another video. Hopefully this will be like video like 5 in a row on this channel, which is probably like the record for this channel because normally I don't upload that much to it. But in this video I'm going to talk about how Samoa Joe might just be ruined already. Now I know a lot of you are going to say, "What? We love Samoa Joe, Samoa Joe, Samoa Joe." And I get it. I get it. Because this isn't a hate piece on Samoa Joe. Frankly, this is quite the opposite. Okay, here's my experience with Samoa Joe. His steel cage match with Finn Balor, I saw that in NXT. It was meh. It actually inspired me to make a video on this channel about why steel cage matches are kind of outdated and they don't really belong anymore. So, Samoa Joe, from what I've seen, is decent. And I don't say that as in like he's not good or he's bad. What I mean by that is from what the little bits I've seen and cared to see, his matches have been okay. And there's always room for improvement because frankly I didn't care for Roman Reigns until he started feuding with AJ Styles. There's definitely chance that with the right partner I will care about him. My argument though is that he's been on the main roster for 3 months now. 3 months now. I don't know the official day he debuted. I could have looked it up before the video started, didn't think to. But think about it. He has been in the main roster for like 3 months now. He is in the main event of Extreme Rules. And let's be frank, guys. He has no chance of winning. They are really screwing the pooch on Samoa Joe. So for one, he comes out, he doesn't really get much fanfare. Occasionally he will, because I noticed this last week. I was going to make the video last week, but I was still kind of getting better from being sick. And so I didn't want to do a video yet. And so I watched this week, and he got more of a pop this week. There was a Joe, 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 Joe chant. But for the most part, it doesn't seem like he gets much reaction. And the reasoning for that is because there's no reason to react to him. Because as like a... For one, he's a heel, which I get, but the hardcore fans are going to cheer for him, which means we have another like Kevin Owens character. Two, we've been given a lot of promise, and that hasn't been fulfilled. So, let's think back. He debuted in February. He fought Seth Rollins. No, he fought Sami Zayn at his first pay-per-view. Okay, I think he beat Sami Zayn. I don't even remember. The match didn't really stick out in my head because I think it was the curtain jerker match. It was a match. Okay, it was whatever. The feud they were building was kind of meh. Everything about it was meh. I don't like Sami Zayn. That you can be angry at me for. Don't dislike the video for that though. But comment why you like Sami Zayn. But it just didn't do anything for me. He injured Seth Rollins on his first night on the main roster. And you'd imagine that'd be a good sign that, you know, things were going to go up. But maybe the company was like, hey, he injured somebody already. Maybe we should, you know, not rocket push him. And I'm not saying everybody needs the rocket push, but he didn't get much. So, at first, they're hinting that him, Kevin Owens, and Triple H are going to form a new Evolution stable, which then gets dropped. And you know what? People can defend it. They can say, you know, they really shouldn't have done it anyway. There wasn't any... Because they were both... Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe are both, you know, more brawlers, but Kevin Owens is a bit of a technician, too. But it was gonna work. That's the thing. You could have put somebody in as the third or fourth guy, really. You could have had Triple H in the Ric Flair role. You could have brought up, like, Bobby Roode. You could have made it work. Yet they didn't. They intentionally basically dropped the angle. Which, for one, left a sour taste in my mouth. Because I'm sitting there going, cool, I'm going to have to finally start caring about Samoa Joe. After years, because literally, think about it, I've been in the IWC for about a decade now. Probably a little more than that. So, way back when, it was always, oh man, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and TNA tearing it up. They are the faces of TNA. And as somebody who didn't really get into TNA and never got it, AJ Styles came over, bam! Big deal. Samoa Joe's in NXT. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And that's fine. But I don't watch NXT. So I expected to be blown away when he came to the main roster. I mean, other guys have pulled it off. Why can't Samoa Joe? So, he doesn't have a legitimate thing anymore. Like, his promos are okay, but in the world of everybody can put on a good match, he doesn't stand out that much. The one thing he does that I think does stand out is the enziguri to the top rope, but even then, it's like it's one move. So if you really think about it, again, he's been up for 3 months. He hasn't really had a memorable match. I don't think he's won any important matches. I mean, he lost to Seth Rollins in his second pay-per-view match. He missed WrestleMania. They couldn't even put him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale, which I don't get because I could have understood it if the goal was to give Samoa Joe a streak of just domination, but now you know he's going to be on at least a 2 pay-per-view lose streak. So it's like, why not just have him in there? I don't understand. You could have had him. Literally, I still think they shouldn't have had Triple H Seth Rollins yet. You could have had Seth Rollins Samoa Joe and built that up as a bigger match, and then bam, that's the redemption story. And you don't have to necessarily pull the Triple H thing all the way to SummerSlam. You could really get it done now at Extreme Rules. But no, we don't want to do that. We want to put on a boring-ass match at WrestleMania, and then we're going to come along, and Samoa Joe has nothing. So now we're in the situation where we need to have a number 1 contenders match because Brock has been off TV for a month. That's all fine and good. But we know Samoa Joe isn't going to win. He lost the last pay-per-view, so now he has little to no legitimacy at all. What you should have done is you should have had him beat Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins can handle a loss. Unless the plan is to have Seth Rollins take on Brock Lesnar and then beat him, which we all know won't happen. I don't get it. You could have just had it as a triple threat. You'd had Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt. Finn Balor, I don't care if Finn Balor gets protected, and I mean, he's already gotten big wins. You could have had Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe in the match 2 of their series, and had it be like an Extreme Rules match, and you're telling me you couldn't have done that? You could have had a ladder match, a Falls Count Anywhere match. You could have given them something. And instead, Samoa Joe's going to be in the main event when you know he isn't going to win, and if he wins, it's bullshit. We all know that. It doesn't make any sense. Samoa Joe comes out to little fanfare now. He doesn't seem to have any future at this point because they're not building him properly. And this is from somebody who doesn't even care for the guy. But you cannot seriously tell me that based off of the current trajectory, he's going to be a big deal in this company. You can't. Because you know the rest of the year is going to be Brock holding the belt. And then you're going to have Reigns win it, because we know that's what's going to happen. You have maybe Braun in there. You have to have Seth and Finn get in there at some point. I mean, you look at it, and the next 2 years of the belt pretty much are backed up. Money in the Bank has a SmackDown pay-per-view, so you can't even use that as a reason for Samoa Joe to sneak up into the main event scene. So, what is going to happen? Unless you turn Brock face and you have Joe in the Rumble, in which point, no, he can't do that. So, Samoa Joe, as a guy who should be a main eventer, isn't going to be. So now he feels less important. He feels like a mid-card guy. And frankly, we all know that he really shouldn't belong there, but until I get proven otherwise, that's where he belongs. The company clearly doesn't believe in him. I mean, if so, they would have done something with him. They would have let him win his match against Seth Rollins. I still don't understand that. None of it makes sense. None of it. WWE, if you're watching this, if anybody in the company is watching this, you're fucking up with Samoa Joe, and it's gonna bite you in the ass.